We were approached by Ruth, who won an Oscar for her amazing costume design work on the previous Black Panther movie, and she came to us to look at working on some new costumes for the Black Panther Wakanda Forever film.
We got to create a costume for Baku, who is the leader of the Jabari tribe. We made this amazing ceremonial armor with his iconic gorilla chestplate. Baku was played by Winston Duke, who we couldn't have here at the workshop visiting, but we had an exact copy of his body as a body mannequin that we then used to make sure the costume was fitting exactly to his measurements. And then we used internal fit models to make sure everything was moving right and the actor was as comfortable as they could be.
With Baku and the Jabari tribal look, we sort of turned to Ruth for a lot of the inspiration, and she had done a lot of research into sort of tribal elements of African culture. And she came up with this incredible design that we helped bring off the page for her.
It's really important to us to bring as much authenticity to the costumes we make as we can. It's a way of connecting the characters to the world that they're in. We research traditional techniques, materials, and the aesthetics.
It's amazing that the Marvel world has these really dynamic visual costume designs, and I guess part of our role was looking at how we bring believability and realism to the costume. We knew that the Jabari timber was meant to feel ancient, so we went right back looking at examples of historical carvings from different cultures. We went right down to like what kind of timber from what kind of tree would be appropriate, and we made samples. We actually settled on some timber which was recycled from one of the first piers built in Wellington. So the timber itself was about 100 years old, maybe older, and it was recycled from a warehouse that we hand selected. Puddy went out there and he found the right bits of timber that had the right cracks and the right feel to them.
We then milled this recycled wood in our 3D department into base shapes, and from there our senior prop maker Putty actually hand carved every single piece of the armour. His chest plate, his pauldrons, his belt, band braces, his greaves and boot armour, it was all hand carved, every little detail.
Putty could go through and work into the grain and into the knots and kind of bring out the cracks and really accentuate the natural kind of quality that the wood had.
As well as the wooden understructure of the Baku costume, it was embellished with cowrie shells and also vibranium.
Both the chest plate and the pauldron have inlaid vibranium detailing, and we did that with lead because we wanted a material which felt like it was somehow beaten into the wood. Both the wood and the metal are insanely hard, so how would you actually combine these two? And we thought hammering it, like forging the two together, would be the way that you do that. So we literally got some lead and we forged it and hammered it into the wood, and we got kind of this nice kind of hammered, patinaed finish to it.
For this costume for Baku, it had to be waterproofed because he is battling in and out of water. We did a lot of tank testing with the different fur elements in our sampling phase, just to see how they move and how they react to the water. We also did a tank test for his underskirt that he wears under his grass skirt, just to see how that would also react in the water and move.
Creating Baku's skirt was actually really interesting for us. We wanted to give Ryan and Ruth as much depth in the fibres and as much movement as possible, knowing that he was going to have a lot of action. So we used mostly natural fibres, we used raffia, sisal, and then we blended them by hand for each layer of the skirt.
Just seeing Baku first emerge in the trailer was such an exciting moment for all of us here at Workshop. We all can't wait to see this costume come to life.
It's always so exciting to see our work on the screen, all of the detail and the work and the thought that we've put into the costumes.
It's amazing to work within the Marvel world, and especially this movie, having so much opportunity to bring a real world quality and to create artifacts. It's something we're always aspiring to do here. It's such a pleasure to work on something like this and have someone with such vision as Ruth. So we're honoured to be able to work with her on this, and we're very proud of what we came up with.